So recently I uploaded a video reacting to my 2018 AP scores, and a lot of you guys left questions, so I thought that I would answer them today. And yeah, let's just get right on into it. How can you get good scores on AP exams? Can you share some tips to be good at school? By the way, you're so pretty and confident. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I think one of the biggest things that I can say to be good at school is to be awake during class, which is hard, but a lot of times teachers will, drop hints at what they want you to know. You can kind of figure out by what they emphasize, and most of the time when they emphasize that, you know that that's going to be on a test or that something is very important. If there's a question that you get wrong on a test, not to defend your question not to defend your answer, sorry. When somebody's trying to explain an answer to you, don't get defensive, just try to keep an open mind. I find that helps a lot of people. If you don't understand why you got a question wrong, ask your teachers, and also asking your friends, because sometimes they can explain it better to you than your teachers can. Actually write out your notes. So that's something that I do. I write it out, and you don't have to write out like the entire paragraph or whatever. You can just shorthand it in a way that you will understand it best and you'll remember it much better. Tips for AP World History. I'm hoping to get an A in that class this year. What you need to be able to do in AP World to be successful is to be able to shift your focus. You need to, like a camera lens, right? You need to be able to see the full picture, but you also need to be able to zoom in on certain parts as the movie of time goes by. One of the best ways to do that is to, throughout the entire year, always review what happened in the previous time period. You need to be able to keep the time periods straight in your mind so that you don't mix them up or write about different things, because all of the questions and all of the long answer, short answer, DBQ, as well as the multiple choice questions, all of the right answers are based off of overarching themes that happen in each time period. Something that's also really fun is, brain dumping with your friends. So what I used to do is me and a couple of my good friends would get together and we would talk through the entire, all the time periods. We would talk through the big events, and then we would zoom in on certain geographical areas, so like the Middle East or Southeast Asia or whatever. We would zoom in and then talk through those, and we get progressively deeper and deeper, and then we'd move on to the next time period. Because when you talk with your friends, you can catch things that both of you guys, forgot, and also refresh things that somebody else remembered that you didn't. Another great way to keep things straight in your mind is to remember the names of the different time periods. For instance, 600 to 1450, the name is Regional and Trans-Regional Interactions, and by that you can kind of remember empires and then trade, and you'll be able to relate things that happen in the time period to the name of the time period. Okay, now as for LEQs, DBQs, and SAQs, for DBQs, I would practice, I'm not writing out the entire DBQ, but I would look and read DBQ documents and practice sorting them together underneath 3 different claims. So when you're practicing for the actual test, look up old tests and read through the documents, practice making claims and sorting those documents. The best way for me that I found to be able to do that is to find whether the document is positive or negative, because you can sort the negative documents together and you can sort the positive documents together and then further split it up from there. For LEQs, the broadness of being able to expand and shrink your spectrum, will help you. When you are planning out your LEQ and DBQ, it's okay to take time. It's okay to take time and really, really think about what the argument you want to make is. And because once you make that argument and you have it all laid out in your graphic organizer with argument and then evidence, argument, evidence, or document, argument, once you actually plan it out and you start writing, keep your pencil moving, make sure you get all the ideas from your document, from your graphic organizer into your actual thing. And as long as you don't stop writing, you will finish it. You will get that done. Also, make sure you analyze the documents, author's tone, purpose, why, who's the audience, and why it's important in each of the documents. As for SAQs, what I would do is I would use the first sentence to say what answer the question. The the second sentence to kind of go in deeper detail and explain my first sentence, and my third sentence as some sort of outside evidence, or like this happened and then this happened as a result, like as my third sentence. And just get really, really good at BSing. There's an online website that is really good that's called Freemanpedia, and of course Khan Academy videos are amazing. How did you take AP Calc as a sophomore? Is it common for sophomores to take AP Calc at your school? Nope, lol. It's kind of weird, right? Because a lot of the people at my school who take AP World are actually freshmen. I'm in a freshman and a junior class. And to answer your question, basically what I did as part of the advanced program for my school was take geometry and algebra 2 with trig in the same year as a 9th grader, and then take pre-calculus over the summer, which I think would have been fine for me because all of my friends here got like 98s-ish in AP Calc. But no, I moved to another school district where they made the AP Calc class much, much harder than the, I guess, average AP Calc class on purpose. And at that point, I just wasn't comfortable enough in my own abilities to attack questions. So I get, I guess, overwhelmed very easily. I was holding on to my barely an A, and then I dropped it. The second semester, for anybody wondering, number one tip, get a AP Calc test practice book. That will help you so much. It's so much simpler in the book than at least in my textbook. If I were you, I would get a practice book and work in that alongside my actual schoolwork. If you want to be really successful in AP Calc and get a good score, I got a 5. And honestly, the calc class that I was in was so much harder than the actual test. I thought the actual test was easy because of how much work I had to put into my AP Calc class. I ended with a 95 in the second semester, which was... For those late all-nighters, how do you stay driven to keep studying and working and not go to sleep? Also, what editing software do you use? I use iMovie. I find it pretty intuitive and it's pretty nice. Back to the late all-nighters, I very rarely pull all-nighters actually, but most of the time it's for a deadline. Something that motivates me to be able to keep on working throughout the night, I guess, is the deadline, which is really bad. But as for general motivation, I would say what motivates me is knowing what I want. So if I want to have an A or to do well on this test, being able to recognize that that is something that I really do want helps me push through. Also, thinking about what other people have put into me, all the work that I've already put in, that is really helpful for me to keep my general motivation.
I would say also having friends who are really academic or driven in the area that you need motivation in is also really nice because you have that group support. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys have any suggestions or your own personal advice regarding schoolwork or APs, especially junior APs, I would really appreciate it. If you guys could put those down in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching and please come back again. Bye!